Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and today we're here to review for you Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Star-Crossed World for the Nintendo Switch 2. This review was written by the stupendous PJ O'Reilly for NintendoLife.com and has been adapted into this video by me. Recently, we were back reading over our original Kirby and the Forgotten Land review to get a quick reminder of how we found the base game when it released back in 2022. What even is time? And yeah, it seems we fairly enjoyed that one. A fantastic 3D adventure that was as creative and exciting with its mechanics as it was beautiful to behold. Now, on Switch 2, Kirby has returned and he's packing a surprising amount of new content to boot in Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 Edition Plus Star-Crossed Worlds. Nintendo has given the game a bit of the old "come and look what our fancy new console can do" with this Switch 2 edition. Forgotten Land now looks and runs much better, and there's a fully earned triumphalism in the re-themed remixed levels you get in Star-Crossed World, as you bash mysterious crystals and watch all levels magically come alive with frost and ice, sparkling gems and frozen paths carved into the sky. All of this reflecting and glistering in ways the Switch 2 may have well given up trying to process. It's all very fancy. The reason for all of these icy shifts in tone, well, we won't ruin the story for what it's worth, but a big mysterious meteor has crash-landed, and Kirby's services are once again required in order to hoover up crystals, defeat bosses, rescue cute little starries, and so on. The arrival of said meteor sees 2 remixed levels opened up on each of the game's 6 original map regions, for a total of 12 new levels overall. In the game's first region, Neutral Plains, you get a new version of the opening beach arrival level and a further remix in the form of a revisit to the game's mall. These remixes, whilst initially may be a tad disappointing in that they're essentially reusing areas, soon prove themselves to be some of the best, flashiest and most exciting levels in the entire package. As you progress through your icy return to these levels, the game goes out of its way to lift you up, out and above where you've been before, and the platforming action is the tightest and most challenging we've played in a Kirby game thus far. Our one recurring issue with the series resolved in an icy instant: difficulty. Slippery surfaces create a little more tension in making jumps and landings. New ice-based mini-bosses prove fun to best, and some of the best aspects of the main game make a return in fun ways. So, it's a hefty amount of new game, especially considering the reasonable price of upgrading for players who already own the base game. And that's not all, as whilst the number of new remixed regions comes in at a solid amount of new content by itself, Nintendo has gone the extra mile and added new transformations, a whole new gacha collection, and a few other things besides that we won't spoil. We'd even go so far to say that the new Gear Mouth transformation is one of the most engagingly tactile Kirby alterations ever. We love how the cog's teeth stick to the wall, and the way the HD rumble really lets you feel the weight and bumpiness as you trundle up platforms and across gaps. This is top platforming fun, no matter who you are or what your skill level might be. Add in a few more transformations such as Spring Mouth, jump really high and then smash through stuff, and Sign Mouth, downhill racing anyone, and you've got a perfectly balanced sprinkling of new things to try out across a bunch of levels that look and play amazingly well. Again, we don't feel like you're getting shortchanged because these are just remix levels, as the amount of new things to do, see, and collect makes them feel like much more. For us, all this added goodness makes it impossible not to rerun through the entire game alongside the new levels, and thankfully, Nintendo has made this nice and easy to do here, as you can jump between the normal base game stuff and the new additions all from the same map. Plus, switching to stage lists and collectibles takes nothing more than a quick press of X to cycle between Forgotten Land and Star-Crossed World stats. The base game, with its fantastic campaign, has never looked or felt better to play either. These are big upgrades from 30 FPS with the odd creak and a slightly smeared look to buttery smooth 60 FPS and a crystal clear resolution in both docked and handheld mode. So mixing things up, jumping back in to retread old ground, while bashing through new areas for more stories, it all feels equally fresh and looks fantastic across the board. The Hub Town's Coliseum also has something new going on, although we can't go into that just now. All in all though, it rounds out what is a very generous helping of new things on top of a visual and performance touch-up that makes it very hard for us to pick holes. Honestly, as far as Kirby goes, this really is now his finest platforming hour, with the only thing really holding him back being the repetitiveness of some of the reused bosses in the base game, which is still an issue here. But regardless of this minor issue, this is still easily one of the best and most polished 3D platformers on Switch and Switch 2. So in conclusion, Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Star-Crossed Worlds gives you the base Forgotten Land experience at a delicious 60 FPS with a whole big bunch of new content thrown in for good measure. The 12 remixed areas that make up the DLC are uniformly delightful, the new transformations are excellent, and there's even new challenges for hardcore Kirby fans to get stuck into. One of the best games on Switch and one of our favorite 3D platformers in years, polished to a sparkly sheen and packing some meaningful new content, that's a very easy recommendation and a truly excellent addition to the Switch 2's early lineup. We here at Nintendo Life give Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Star-Crossed World for the Nintendo Switch 2 a 9 out of 10. And now with the review done, it's time for Felix's personal thoughts. So, have Nintendo been able to fix my biggest issue with this game, which was the frame rate? Don't get me wrong, the base game runs fine on Switch 1, but what was really distracting me during my initial playthrough when the game came out was the NPCs in the distance, which, well, they were rough. Of course, it will vary from person to person how much this affects you, but I felt it often enough that it was just distracting. Now, I did enjoy my initial time with it, I just never got around to finish it because other stuff came around, and I always thought I'd replay it one day. So this Switch 2 edition plus some added DLC was the perfect opportunity for me to dive right back in. And lo and behold, Nintendo, you have done it. This game looks and runs fantastic. And it's really not until you go back to the Switch 1 version that you realize, wow, this upgrade is really huge. Not only do the enemies and stuff run a lot better in the distance, sure they still drop to a lower frame rate if you get further away from them, but it's not distracting anymore. It's not something that my eye immediately notices and goes, oh, something is wrong there. I am seriously enjoying my time with this game. It is so satisfying trying to find all the Waddle Dees in each level, and the new DLC content, well, I really like how it gets unlocked. So if you start a new save file, the new DLC won't be unlocked until you beat the first world. There, the meteor will crash down and you'll be able to play the first of the 2 DLC levels in this area. Once you've beat the first one, you'll unlock the second one. Then you'll have to defeat the boss of the second area to unlock the first DLC level of the second area, and so on and so forth. I really like the new transformations, as PJ also said, and the remix levels do feel different enough to the main levels, mainly due to it takes you to new areas of that level that you hadn't seen before. All in all, this is just one of the best platformers that there is out there. And now with the Switch 2 edition, not only do you get improved frame rates, but also improved load times and, well, the gorgeous visuals that, yes, were there on Switch 1, but my god, do they just look fantastic here on Switch 2. And I'm just so glad that it's here on Switch 2, so I can replay it from the start and actually get to the end this time. So maybe you're in a similar boat and you tried out the game but you never finished it. Now is the time to do so, because in my opinion, they have perfected the game. But what do you all think? Are you upgrading or are you trying out this game for the first time? Well, let us know down in the comments below. And don't forget to check out NintendoLife.com, where you can find reviews like these, but in written form. Stay safe, do try out Kirby and the Forgotten Land on the Nintendo Switch 2, it runs absolutely fantastic, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.